Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about Big E sort of melding his two gimmicks. So they did a beautiful Pat Patterson tribute, and they had a tribute match. Six Intercontinental Champions, Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Big E versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, and Dolph Ziggler. The match was really fun. It was really good. They even did some kind of house show type of stuff at the end where Dolph really sold like a an atomic drop, like he was Rick Rude, and he got all the finishers put on him. It was really over the top and comedic and silly. But the match is really, on top of being a tribute for Pat Patterson, the match is really notable because Big E came out to new music and he came out to a new entrance. Well, it's a throwback entrance. So his new music, I guess, is performed by Wale. He talked about this on Twitter. It's just unavoidable. Was something that I saw. I didn't really get to hear it, but it didn't sound too bad. It didn't sound absolutely garbage like all the other themes in the company. And plus, I know that Wale is really good friends with the New Day. He's been close with WWE for the last 5 or 6 years. Uh, I think they had Wale doing like SummerSlam preview shows, and I think he's done the bump and all that type of stuff. So he's been close. He's not like a random thing. I like when they use real artists for the themes, like Stephanie McMahon's theme song, I believe is Little Kim, and Shane McMahon's theme song is Naughty by Nature. So like I like when they use real artists and not just like try to go bootleg instrumental with it. So I prefer when they try to use real artists because real artists at least know you at least you gonna put some effort into the lyrics and all that type of stuff. I really want to hear the song when it's put out, as far as when it's really released to the public. I really want to sit down and listen to it. That and the new Keith Lee theme, because Keith Lee's new theme as well. I know that he wrote his own vocals, Keith Lee, but it's another one of those things where, for some reason, because the commentators are always yelling and you can't really sit down and absorb the music. But the Big E entrance was they went back to the powder, the weightlifting powder, which is kind of a. It was always a sort of nod to LeBron James. You know, LeBron James used to had a thing where he used to, play with the powder in his hands and toss it up in the air. Big E would do the similar. He would, clap with the weightlifting powder and blow smoke all over the place. So they kind of combined the New Day Big E with, still gyrating, still being fun and over the top, but they're kind of just bringing out the personality of the bodybuilder Big E, and it's an interesting meld of the two. Big E has sort of been on a mission to prove that he can be a top guy without changing who he is. That's sort of been one of his missions, and it's a weird position, but I think I understand it. He's kind of been offended by the idea that he should change or he should be more serious. And he's kind of been trying to prove that he can do it without the New Day. He didn't want to do it with them being on a different brand or being separated from them. But that's just kind of how the cards were dealt. And I believe that it's. I like the idea of trying to find the best of the two personas. The Big E Langston persona, which was basically bodybuilder, big dude, big menacing, but he was bland. He didn't have anything to say. He didn't have any personality. And then you have Big E of the New Day, who is gregarious, big. He's silly, he's like a big child. But he had a way of being a little bit serious, but it had to be he had to be pushed to that point. Now I think for what we've seen, especially with his interactions with Sami Zayn, and is that he's kind of found that edge. Him being alone, he's kind of found a little bit of that edge. His interactions with the Street Profits over the last couple weeks before Survivor Series, where he was kind of getting serious with them, and they were trying to crack jokes. He was kind of getting a little bit serious with them. But he's still trying to be Big E, have fun, but he also kind of cuts short when everybody is kind of trying to make fun of him, or people think that he's a joke, or that what he's doing is somehow inferior to what they're doing. But I kind of like the presentation. I like the idea of them trying to do best of both worlds. Now people want to go back to the 5 count. Look, that 5 count stuff, that's heel stuff. The 5 count it doesn't translate. That was the old King Kong Bundy gimmick. And it also just throws people off. People are just going to be so used to, the 3 count that when you start to get to 4 or 5, people are like, what in the hell? So the 3 count is fine. We don't need to go into all that. But I like that they're individualizing Big E because they didn't do that when Kofi went solo. When Kofi was a champion, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Every time they didn't go back. They didn't give him new music. He didn't have a fresh presentation. Now he was a lot more serious. He had to show a little bit more of a serious side to him. But he was still. It was like the New Day was the WWE champion. That's how it felt. It felt like, okay, well, not really Kofi, but the New Day. And Kofi was just the guy working the matches. And I love Kofi. I think Kofi is great. But that's just kind of how it was. Now, in this situation, Big E is going to be the guy working the matches because he's individualized. He has his own merchandise. He has his own shirt. Has his own theme. Everything. Now, he's still, somewhat of a member of the New Day. They're not completely broken up. They've just been separated. So they're individualizing Big E, which is a good thing. But it's hard to tell whether he's going to be Sami Zayn's opponent going forward or whether it's going to be Daniel Bryan. They kind of been tripping all over themselves with this whole feud with Sami Zayn where, Sami Zayn did beat Daniel Bryan. He got beat him by count out, but Big E this week gets a win over Sami Zayn's team and he gets to beat up Dolph and all that type of stuff. And so he might be in line for a pretty good push. Now, is Big E going to be the guy to win the Royal Rumble like we all thought? I would still go with Big E or Keith Lee to win the Royal Rumble. That's just me. I think if I had to make a choice, I would go with Keith Lee to win the Royal Rumble because Big E has, he's such a tenured performer that you don't really need for him to win it. Big E. I mean, I don't know which one of them is older. I think Keith Lee is older because the reason why I say which one is older is because you want to shoot the older one out of a cannon. You want to try to get him to the top as fast as possible, and the Royal Rumble is the best way to do it. Keith Lee is he hasn't been on the roster as long, so you can get away with Big E sort of grinding to get to the top, and you could shoot Keith Lee out of a cannon. But I think one of them definitely should win the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to those two guys. Because I really a fan of both of them. But I really like this idea of Big E getting the singles push and being individualized and not just being Big E of the New Day, of trying to be Big E, who he was before, in a new packaging, in a new presentation. I think I like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you guys later.